want you to pick anything that is happening in the realms of the spirit. He keeps you congested with a lot of useless. Now, let me show you something in the book of Genesis, chapter 13. Let me show you something. Genesis chapter 13, verse number 14. And the Lord said unto who? Look at it. God. And the Lord said, which means God spoke. And the Lord said, you see your problem? You are reading the rest of it. Let me read it for you. Listen. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him. Allow me to explain that part, because some of you have been left. It's high time those people realize that when they leave you, they have created space for God to come. And the Lord said unto Abram, God is saying unto Abram, when after that Lot was separated from him, God was ready to speak, but waiting for Lot to leave. Why waiting for Lot to leave? Because Lot means veil. Lot means covering. So when you see Lot leaving Abraham, it means Abraham's vision was now unveiled. Lot means a veil, even a veil over your face. It means you can't see. And it was until Lot decided to leave Abraham, and God said, now lift up your eyes. Why? Because now there is no more veil on you. Now if I advise you to look, you can see, because Lot has gone away from you. Why is it God is now speaking? If I tell you, it's not as if God was actually even waiting for Lot to leave. God was saying all this time. But because of the veil, Abraham was not able to hear. You have got too many people around you, some of you here. In as much as God would want you to get connected, but those are not the kinds of connections. Those are not the kinds of connections that we can talk about for now. It's happening, the voice is coming at a time when Lot had left. When he left, and God spoke to Abraham and he said, Abraham, now arise and open your eyes and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward, eastward and westward. Begin to look. Something that he never advised Abraham to do. Now that Lot is gone, God is saying, now I want you to open your eyes, because the veil has been removed. Begin to see. There are certain people that unless they leave you, you can't see. Now back to the story. It was during that time when his brothers were now avoiding him. And by avoiding Joseph, that's when God gave Joseph a dream. I don't know if this is not making sense to you. I don't know. But listen, it's happening at a time God himself intentionally allows such incidences or such happenings to happen, to have people that used to be very, very close to you, and you call them dear. dear. You can't live without those people. And as long as people like that are there and they are not mandated by God to be in your life, you are going to block the voice of God. Because dreams are there coming on a daily basis. But it is because you are too much congested. You still have a lot of activities happening around you and wrong people. Not many people are ready to be abandoned. We do everything to pursue relationships. Knowing that people are trying to avoid you, you still go there. Every person loves to be loved. That's why sometimes you end up even imposing yourself on people that you know they're not interested in you. But you feel like at least I should be loved by somebody. You find yourself sitting in a place where you know you are not loved, and yet you are still sitting there. Why? Because you feel like I should be loved. What is it that I should do so that I can also attain love from these people? And you try everything. And after trying everything, they still don't love you. Watch out. In other instances, it could be the devil, and in other instances, it could be God. God is calling you to a solitary place. Look at Mark chapter 1, verse number 35. Mark chapter 1, verse number 35. And in the morning, let's read it together. I want to go. What is he going there to do? What kind of a place? Solitary. What makes a place solitary? Huh? Some are saying absence of people, but you are there as a person, right? Yes, yes. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. What makes it a solitary place is because you are only there. It's only yourself. And in such a place, look at Jesus. In a place where he is alone, he is praying. If Jesus is the only person there, why is he praying? Talking to who? Because in a solitary place, you can't speak to anybody and you can't pray. But being in a place where you are there alone, when we find you praying, it means there is somebody there listening to you. In places where you think you've been abandoned and you think you're the only person there, there is God. There is God. In a place, imagine Jesus actually, when his disciples found out that he was there praying alone, they came after him and they said, all the people are looking for you. Telling Jesus, a prophet, that people are looking for you. He knew all that. He intentionally ran away from them to create time with God. Before people can run away from you, run away from them. If you run away from them before they run away from you, they'll never run away from you. Arrow. I'm saying, because it is God himself in certain instances where God himself becomes jealous. If God begins to feel like somebody else is taking you away from him, he fights that person. Don't cause people to be fought by God. When you have a person that you rely on, still create time with God so that God doesn't feel like defending that relationship between himself and you. Hello? 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 Because if you have got a friend and you are sitting there and you know that if I'm going to need anything and if I want to buy anything, though I don't have money in my pocket, but I've got a friend, I need this thing. Okay, stand up, let me explain this. You want to buy something, and looking at the price, you know you don't have that much. It means you cannot afford to buy that thing. And yet you need it, not you want it. You need it. You can't do without it. You need it urgently. And the first person that comes into your mind is your friend. Your friend who has got sufficient funds to buy that thing. And he's not interested in buying that thing for himself. He is not in need of that thing, but you are in need of that thing, but you don't have sufficient funds to buy that thing. But you have got a friend who has got money. And right away, when you face that kind of a situation where you know you can't do it by yourself, and the first person that comes into your mind is your friend. That's betrayal. God looks at that relationship and says, oh. I made you to need that thing, knowing that you didn't have enough money, and knowing that you were supposed to demonstrate your trust towards me.